Hey everybody, and welcome back to the vlog. Wow, before we get into today's video about this guy Anthony Senta, um, I get, I only went to the 8th grade, so maybe I'm not smart enough to articulate what I really mean. I mean, I guess my last video went over a lot of people's heads because I'm reading all these comments now, and you guys are accusing me of accusing them of being a rat. Now there are many there are so many takes on what a snitch is. It's not funny. I mean, if you go to Joey Molino's channel, he freaks out about rats because the poor bastard, he was ratted out more times on bullshit thing. I did research on him. Like I said in my last video, I totally changed my opinion about him. I totally changed my opinion about him, but that's not what I'm talking about. I digress. So, okay, to me, a rat is someone who puts somebody else in jail in their place. That's a rat. That's a rat. Or it could be for other reasons too. A bunch of people rat people out for different reasons, but that's generally the main one. Okay, so in my last video, and I don't want to get into this too much because I want to get into what I want to get into now, what this video is about. A lot of people said, "Oh, the twins are stand-up guys. They would never rat. Oh, they put the brakes on. Slam on the brakes. Slam the fucking brakes on." I never said that. I never said that. And why? Okay, so put the brakes on. They're in prison. They did, what did they do? 35 years? They did 35 years in prison or some shit. They've been locked up since 89. Everybody they know is dead. Dead. They're my age. All the people that I know way back then, they're all dead. They're gone. They're fucking gone. Can't rat out a dead person. Can't do it. Can't do it. Not going to be any repercussions by you ratting them out. No, what do they call in baseball? No foul. No, what is it? The strike. Fuck, I don't follow. No foul. No play. No, some other. I still follow baseball. So, man, I just hate it when I can't be. And I understand that the vast majority of my viewers never been arrested, never went through the criminal justice system. But trust me, I did. And I was on both sides of the fence. So nobody knows better how law enforcement works than yours truly. Nobody. Fucking out. Nobody. I'll label me the expert. I'm the fucking expert. Nobody else. I played both sides. I was a criminal and I was an informant. Okay, so imagine. And people like, yeah, let me read some of these comments. Nah, I doubt it. They did 30 plus and they decided to rat ? Unlikely. I beg to differ with you, Ryan. Okay, so I mean, the comments go and go and go and go and go. They're all about, they're just about like that. They did all this time, they're not gonna rap. Well, that's a double-edged sword right there, bro. Because let me tell you something. If you did 30 some odd years, if you've been locked up since 1989, and you're in the last chapter of your life, which I'm in, I'm 70, this is, it's downhill now. It's down. I may look like I'm fucking 70 years old. So, and they are my age, a couple years younger than me. So they're looking at the last chapter of their life, and I guarantee they don't want to die in prison. I think they both have families. One has families in Nevada. That's where he'll be going. And Anthony's going to be staying in New York, which I think is very dangerous. Okay, so So they did 30 years, 30 something years. You know, one of the biggest part of a homicide investigation is recovering the victim's body if they don't have it. That's one of the biggest things. I'm sure you watched Dateline and some of these network channels that do a story about a murder, right? And the DAs and U.S. attorneys will bend over backwards to a defendant to give up the location of the murder victim. They will. I got another freaking comment. So they've been in jail since 1989. Everybody's dead. You can't rat out a dead man. And if you have the knowledge, and let's back up. They got convicted of 10 homicides plus RICO and all this other shit. 10 homicides. You think that's the only homicides they did? Fuck, man, they were in that Gemini's lounge cutting fuckers, people up in their underwear. Yeah, so, I mean, there's plenty they know. So now, maybe they were holding out, and I'm not saying they're not stand up. I think they are. I mean, they went to prison. They did their thing. But so if all they would have to do would be to give the government the location where dead bodies are buried to get out, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? That's not ratting. That's being smart. Why wouldn't they give up the location? So let's take this analogy. Maybe there was 2 or 3 people alive during their 10th, 15th, 20th year in, 25th year. Then those people died. No harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. I just think if you look at my last video, that it's just a little bit too coincidental that they're looking for bodies connected to the family that they worked for. And the month later, they released that they're going to be paroled in April. You know, the government is great for making deals. They're good. And just because you're a rat doesn't mean that you have to testify. You could have an arrangement with them where you're just going to be the eyes and ears of the FBI. They like that better. Because as soon as you become a witness, you are no longer good to them. Unless your name is Kevin Marr. I don't know how the fuck I kept that shit going as long as I did, but I did. So anyway, so I just wanted to get that out. When I'm suggesting that this could be what happened, that doesn't mean it did, but I know it did. I know. I just can't. I do believe in coincidences, but come on. If you look at everything in its totality, it all points to they gave the government, or they tried to give the government, locations where bodies were buried, and then they let them out. Don't forget, they were sentenced under the old federal guidelines where they had a possibility of parole. But that doesn't mean that you're going to get paroled. When you sit before a parole board, those commissioners are going to be there, and they're going to be going, 10 murders you got convicted of. Okay, I ain't letting you out. I'm not. It's safer for them to deny parole than it is to grant parole, unless they have a reason. Now, from what I understand, both of these guys really didn't have any issues in prison. They went to school. They did all this shit. They did everything right. But still, that doesn't negate that there are 10 families out there that loved ones were murdered, and probably most of them for no other reason but for Roy DeMeo wanted them done. Speaking of Roy DeMeo, so let's get off that. There are many ways to cooperate with the United States government, the Justice Department, the FBI, DEA. There's many, many ways. And, for the most part, everyone that does cooperate, that got popped, has to, it's a contract. It's like any other contract. You can tailor it that it makes sense for the defendant and it makes sense for the government. Okay? So I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if they cooperated. I don't have any other friends right now. All the people that I worked with in the FBI all have been long retired. So I don't have no inside. I heard this. That's not what I'm trying to say. But that's just what my opinion is. And my opinion is based on 30 years of experience working with them in this. So I hope everybody understands that. And I will continue to answer people who accuse me of saying that they're a rat. That you can't rat a dead man out. And if all they're doing is giving the government the locations where these victims are buried, well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you're in prison that long, you got to be thinking about the day you meet the face of God. And you did all these bad things. Wow. So this would be part of their penance to tell these family members where their loved ones' remains are buried. And there's nothing wrong with that. Which brings me to another topic. Okay. Roy DeMeo. Roy DeMeo murdered. I never thought of myself as a victim of Roy DeMeo. Fuck, I didn't even know what he turned into just a couple of years ago. Watched Sarah's face on the YouTube channel. Whoa. Roy DeMeo murdered a very close friend of mine, almost like a father figure. His name was Joey Bricchini. He was a member of the Lucchese crimes family, and I worked for him. Did I work for him whacking people or doing all this stuff? No, I worked for him. My main job was to make sure that when his ass hit that toilet seat in that body shop, that shit was clean and that nobody else used it, including me. The floor had to be immaculate. Should his pants hit it when he had to use it? So I did that, and then I worked my way up to opening the shop and things like this. Joey Bikini was one of the coolest fucking guy I ever met. Joey Bikini was the only one that when I went to prison, 2 days after I got violated on parole, drove to the Bronx and gave my mother $1,000. And this is 1984 money. How much is $1,000 today's money? That was a lot of money. Just gave it to her, and my mother was upset and crying. He sat with her for a while on his way back from Westchester County to where he lived to the shop in Jamaica, Queens. He stopped off and consoled my mom and gave her that money when she had no money. How much?
So 1984.
Yeah. No. 1974 today to 2024.
Okay.
How much is 1,000 worth?
It would be worth $6,335.
So imagine getting a knock at the door. Hey, Agnes, my mother. Hey, here's how much? 6,000 what?
6,300.
6,300. Thanks, Biden. That shouldn't be. It really shouldn't. And I don't ever get into politics, but the next one you should vote for is the guy that looks like me. Fucking bouncy hair. That's pretty good fucking hair for 70. Okay, so where was I? Dropped off $6,000 to my mother. My mother often asked me, my mother visited me twice a month. She had to go from the Bronx all the way up to Greenhaven prison. And she also often would say what a nice man he was. And I couldn't believe my eyes. She said, I thought the money was phony. That's what she couldn't believe, all $100 bills. So I consider myself, I never thought about it this way. I consider myself one of DeMeo's victims, just like a family member. And I spoke to Joey Bikini's one daughter, and I don't know if I don't know what she's, of course, she's brought up mob, so she hates rats. But anyway, I told her, we both know one thing. And she said, what's that? And I never ratted your father out, did I? And maybe if I did, he'd still be alive today. That prick wouldn't have been able to kill him. But nonetheless, I'm getting sidetracked. So that low-life piece of shit murdered my friend. Shot him in the face. Killed him dead. In his business in 1976. But I didn't know it was him. And so I consider myself every bit as much of a victim as everyone else, even his own children. You know, the daughter that I spoke to was born in 1969. He got murdered in 1976. So she was like 7. Hardly knew her dad. Probably knew him better than she did. He used to call her his princess. And I remember when he would call from the shop to his house, he would talk to those kids. And that piece of shit killed him. Fucking. So, let's talk about O.J. Simpson and his hypothetical interview with the media, where he said, well, if I did kill, now don't forget, there's no statute of limitations on a murder. And somebody said that he was charged and the charges were dismissed. So I don't know if it was dismissed with prejudice or without, whether it could be brought back up. I don't know. But everyone that killed him did the world a favor and saved hundreds of lives, maybe. Don't forget, law enforcement says 200 people he whacked and chopped up. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But by the twins whacking him with the other bowler or somebody else, I forget who lured him into the garage. And he knew he was going to get whacked. So hypothetically, I would like to hear from Anthony or Joey, and I would even pay. I mean, when you get out of jail, you have no money. Hey, I'll pay for this interview. Hypothetically, what happened? Now, if my memory serves me, it's my understanding that one of the bullet wounds, he had defensive wounds, which means if you're in a knife fight, you're grabbing the knife, or if your gun is pointed at you in your face, you'll go like this. It's natural. It's not going to stop the bullet. So I understand that one or two of his hands had bullet holes in it. So I'm guessing that they didn't kill him by sneak shooting him in the back of the head. That prick saw it coming. And I would pay to have that story. I want to know, did he scream for mercy? Did he beg you not to do it? Did he plead with you? That's what I want to hear. Well, I want to hear the truth. I don't want to, if that's not happened. But I would love to get the blow by blow in, what is it called? Theoretically, like, was that what O.J. Simpson did? Theoretically, if I killed Nicole and the other guy, Goldman, I theoretically would have went around the back, got in took off my clothes off. So we know he did that. We know that. So, and unlike O.J. Simpson versus Roy DeMeo's homicide, unlike that, O.J. couldn't say, yeah, I killed her, because once you're found not guilty, you cannot be retried. He could have went, yeah, I killed that bitch and I killed that punk and I did this. He could have said that. Can't retry him, double jeopardy, can't do it. Isn't it amazing how much I know about the law? Because when you're in prison for 4 years, you know what they can and can't do. So he couldn't do that because he murdered a woman that was also the mother of his children. But the twins could say, they could even brag about it because they did society a big favor by whacking that piece of shit. So it's not like they're going to get bad press over it, you know? And as I said before, I know they probably won't do, but you know what? I can help them financially. I'm in such a position where I could make it where they come out, where he comes out. Isn't he out now? He's already out. He's in a halfway house. You know, I don't know if his parole officer will allow him to go on social media or not because he's going to be under strict parole. Both of them. They're going to be under. They're going to have to probably report every single week for a long time. And I know what it's like to be on that parole. It's a bitch. It's not easy doing time on the street. Let me tell you right now. You gotta follow a whole bunch of bullshit rules. And while my ex-wife Danielle Staub from the Real Housewives of New Jersey was on federal probation, probation and parole are the same offices. There's probation officers and parole. They're the same thing in federal court, and it's just, you know. But boy, wouldn't you guys love to hear firsthand how that prick, that scumbag, Roy DeMeo met his fate. He was put in the trunk of his own fucking car. It was his popsicle. They took him 3 days to before they could do the autopsy. It took him 3 days. He had to thaw out. He was in like January 10th to the 20th. They fucking right by the ocean, freezing. I actually went there with another YouTube guy right to this where it was, where they found the car, and then the highway. I think it's MCY 3 is where they took the car and they opened it up and the brick was frozen on top of a fucking chandelier. Yeah, Anthony. And Anthony, even if you can't go on social media and you would want to talk to me, I would help you out financially. I will help you. So that's what this is all about this today. And remember, the twins didn't rat anybody out. This time, cooperating would be a plus. Think of all you and all you mob guys and wannabe fucking tough guys and all you fuckers over there. You know, when when you're getting close to the date to meet the face of God, don't you want to say, "What about? Hey, Lord, wait a minute. What about when I gave the families closure? What about, Lord?" That would be what I call a what about. A what about? Hey, whoa, what about this? That'll be the only thing they'll be able to hang their hat on. Come Judgment Day. And you know, all of these guys are Italian, and you all know they're Roman Catholic. So how about it, Anthony? Even if you can't go on, there's no statute of limitations on a murder. I understand that, but hypothetically, and I'm telling you right now, Anthony, if you're watching this, if you get to see this, there's no way any prosecutor, state or federal, in my opinion, my humble opinion, would indict you for that murder. Nobody. And I doubt any jury would convict you because they would all look at it like, don't forget, real mafia people, they only fucking kill themselves. They shoot it out with themselves. Okay, so there might be, what do they call it, collateral damage every once in a while. Or the dumbasses get the wrong name and they shoot the wrong guy. But they kill themselves. And of course, they kill rats. That's what they want to do. They want to keep everybody scared from being an informant. And then they all turned out to be informants. So I hope I made myself clear with that. If they cooperated and led authorities to bodies, and again, in a homicide investigation, it's one thing to bring closure to the family by indicting and convicting the one responsible for it. And in some cases, the bodies are not recovered. So once you do that as law enforcement, the next challenge is to locate the body and give it back to the family for closure. And if that's what they did, nobody should look at that as being a rat. Okay, so anyway, if you found this, my rambling to be entertaining, insightful, educational, then push the fucking subscription button. Push the fucking like, push the bada bing, bada boom. Do it.